With our lovely Lionsgate portal, we have a couple and or more themes today. They all are centered on spiritual self-help and how it works to support spirituality and inner growth, that lovely journey that those who are with their inner self, the child self of you, is in the forefront. So love life is accessible to those who do have their 1-year-old here at IHP as a person. It means you're aware of your 1-year-old. Attached panicky. We all have these child parts. Some of us, they're not charged. That's because we are mentally, the thoughts, and emotionally independent. It's called restorative embodiment, self-aware people who are also accountable and they like to regulate. It's also why we use our prefrontal cortex and we do not have low self-esteem interactions. When we meet Cuscos, we say, hey, I'm a pacha. And that's why evil or unkindness, they're one and in the same, meaning it's a person who could use a good trauma therapist. They might not. We're not here to tell people what to do with their love life or their self or their well-being or their self and other love. And we're going to be talking about that one. And again, self, other. In this case, I'm self, you're other. And Dr. Daniel Siegel has a nice way of bringing that forth. It's a me and a mui, because I get to be a differentiated self. When you're a whole 1-year-old and a whole 3-year-old, it means you have an unconditionally loving heart. I learned how to keep mine because of my lovely primary caregiver, mother, and my twin, and Jesus and God. Now, God, I get to say and share as a mystic. I'm not welcomed by all that use the same word that I got taught, and that is with my Catholic Christian upbringing, and that's the first light body was my confirmation, the Holy Spirit. Spiritual gifts are like clairs. Clairs are explainable by the sciences, and here we bring spirituality and sciences, the human elements, subject matters together, because a flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, and stable brain are the only brains that are going to be intrigued by any of true spiritual self-help work. That means you know your left is a chit-chatter and your right contains all that comes up. And then when you have no charge, that's when true spirituality begins, because you get to live that life of meaning and connection beyond the solo self. And that's when love life also begins. And here's where, as our lovely Sadhguru shares in one of these quotes, your personality is something you have created. Once you are aware of that, you can create it whichever way you want. And he goes on to also share, if you could walk on the street and operate with people in such a way that you put up a personality as it is necessary for the person before you at this moment, then it would be so much fun drawing new caricatures every day. Sadhguru is not psych-educated. I am. So what I'm going to bring into you, the word somatic empath, and my lovely updated good therapists share, like Dr. Daniel Siegel, how to be a differentiated self. That's an integrated brain. I have no emotional triggers because I have no low self-esteem. Okay? So I get to be Maria, but I put to the side my biases and I don't have charges. I don't get reactive. This is what it means. So you're not pretending to be someone else. When you are equanimous, which is what you can be, it's called the angry Buddhist, according to my somatic teachers. That taught me about how a restorative embodiment, self-aware, accountable, regulating person knows how to be angry. We're not angry. In fact, you don't get destabilized. Your hippocampus does not get saturated with cortisol because you actively know how to keep your prefrontal cortex down, because this is what an integrated brain can, with introspection, explain to you. And that's what self-help and spiritual self-help supports people. So 5D Mystic with clairs, yes, it's a beautiful joyride. Love life, beautiful again. Twin flame, beautiful. We get twin flames. We get soulmates. What do you want? The people who are in tragedy land, they have other people that support them. They don't have their 1-year-old in the forefront. And they don't understand what I just said. Well, if you did understand, that means you're following, which is great. So our Lionsgate portal, it opened up yesterday. We have a new moon coming up, so we might have some messages for each other, or I will, but in the meantime, we did get a channeled guidance. It's audio version alone. If you want, you can go check it out. And on that note, let me grab what I wanted to focus on for this one so that we can keep them short. Spiritual, again, self-help. It works to support the people who want to grow and expand and have love always. Love life is not hard. So while some people, they transform into butterfly and it's painful because they had trauma. So they had a hellhole in their body, gut wrenched, torn apart. They didn't know their self. Once they got the self lens, now they are ready for love life. And they say, okay, I have changed. Some of us, we don't change. We consistently are a butterfly because I, for example, didn't have disruption from Purusha Prakriti, pure consciousness, unconditional love, pure energy, Prakriti. I'm going to equate it, the whole 3-year-old heart. So no shame button here, just love. And then as an adolescent, my first choice point, my 11 to 14, seeing all these adolescents be unkind, lying, nobody having anybody's back, the whole drama. I didn't want to be a drama king or queen, so I just learned, okay, you're all unreliable if you don't know how to handle your mood, but I know how to handle my mood and how to be a person that holds heart, body, value, body, energy, physical, mental. So while some people, no, all people are unkind, they broke my heart. We don't do that. And with my teenage boyfriend, I thank him because he taught me everything that I needed to learn about what love life will be if a person doesn't know how to be their entire self with their unconscious and conscious. What does that mean? Okay, so divine detours. Detours are never detours for divine feminine because we have our divine masculine. So what I know as a person who has healthy self-worth, me, your host here, yes, love life, not hard. You got a mood, I got a mood. We can talk. I have a twin. Repairing ruptures, splinters, not a big deal. So you hear a lot of stories here. I will do my best to consistently share that I have different tones like anybody else does, but all of my loved ones, they're all my loved ones. Nobody has been cut out. The only way that anyone gets cut out is that they say, I don't want you in my life, Maria. And they say, you're cut out. And I say, I will have to respect your choice. And I thank you, and I appreciate you, and I am out. And that's it. So you don't have, oh no, I'm inadequate. That doesn't happen to a healthy self-worth woman, man, or they. And that's why love life gets easier, not harder. This is also why true spirituality, you don't disengage from knowing that unkindness is a person in a mood. In fact, that's why when I said, hey, God, no evil, it was because I'm like, they all suffered. They don't know how to tell you the truth. They don't know how to commit, the whole death to us part. Yeah. So with that being said, as I got older, I recognized after the last boyfriend said, I thought you would change. That's fascinating. I thought you knew me. So, when you are a constant self, you don't change. This is because, again, you expand and you'll feel yourself again if any of you are resonating with this because you're maintaining what is pure consciousness. It's not a special gift, by the way. It's the Holy Spirit. It's the Reiki energy. It's the intelligence. Science looks at it. All of it, it's the flow. Neuroscience makes it sound appealing and all fancy. I don't need that. Well-being, you know what well-being is? Here, you get the basics. It's about you being able to, for one, thank you, Sadhguru, whether you are compulsive about food, an activity, or people, it is not a question of right or wrong, but one of bondage or freedom. So people who don't handle their entire brain, yes, if they have an adaptive child, maladaptive child behavior, you're going to find that they don't know how to work with their self to stay within balance. So again, self-help, it helps people who want to learn to be equanimous, not the ones that I want to do it. Love life helps you to become more of you because you're with people who you appreciate and they appreciate you. Okay, so the ability to manage yourself is what brings that state of inner well-being because it's a capacity and a way you will feel. That's why first you get to do the childhood trauma therapy if your body is not your home and if human beings are not people you want to be around. The ability to support your well-being involves you being able to prioritize the relationships that are quality. That doesn't mean talking to people like they're pieces of shit. No, you can talk to people when you have splinters and ruptures like a functional adult, which is what we do here. And when people want to crap on people that have adaptive child behaviors, they're all Cuscos. Shaming, blaming, faulting, revenging, envying, jealousy, any of those stereotypes, just put it, they're all old news for a person that knows how to consistently maintain, again, a clear line, because we're all people. I have flaws, don't you? I'm not going to get it perfect. Okay, so controlling, we don't control addictive behavior. Actively, I was never and am never addicted to anything. That I like it, yes. That I can be off balance, yes. And that's where my lovely caregiver, my primary caregiver, has consistently made me aware of it, to the extent to where I will notice it. And then you know what the universe does? Universe nudges us. So whenever we are out of habit of the balance, we get nudged and we get to be redirected. Why? Because we pay attention. Why? Because my physical health is my priority. I'm not that stupid. I can be lazy. I can fall back. Again, I'm securely attached. You know how much harder it is for people who didn't have a healthy self-worth environment? That much harder, which is why they need people that are like us to say, okay, no more of that stuff. I'm going to keep you in check. You told me you want to be around here. I'm not going to watch you wither away. So I'm going to actively make fun of you or tease you or do something. And that's where, again, the herd, Manny, Diego, Sid. So love life is this. It's not your one note, but it's not you bringing Eeyore. The Eeyore mood is a doomsdayer that is a childhood trauma personality that can get healed and out of that. And so our neuroplastic agent of choice, imagination, and you using your brain effectively means you using it with that very bare minimum of neutrality and duality. You don't have to do positive. You don't have to do negative. You want to get to the expanding consciousness. Otherwise, you're going to be a narrow. So you make time for the things you enjoy. People you enjoy, time, things you enjoy. Not the alcohol, not the fucking, not the drugging. Meaning if those are patterns, not the getting angry, not the seeking out, the arenas of getting into drama. You identify that which is a maladaptive child pattern behavior or adaptive child, and you say, okay, here's my list. I disengage from that, and I replace those habits with healthy habits that I enjoy. Giving to others, kind intention is important, because that is what life is about. It's about that meaningful connection, because we are mammals, and that activates your ventral vagal state. And so you want to engage with others and be with them. And so self-agency, connection, meaning, and that's what all of what we get to do here alongside other people. And that is what love life is. It's two people or more, depending if you're a monoamory or polyamory person, that say we give each other smiles every day, and when we are going through something, we support each other to self-regulate together in our social engagement system, because we have 24 hours. Who wants to live those 24 hours in an unnecessary mood that is a biochemistry of fear that is not needing to be there? If you have a tummy ache, then you get to rest. If you have a backache, you get, so again, the self, the agency, the capacity for you to love, the capacity for you to always be on a high, it's possible, because emotions are not laundry. You have 6 basic. You learn how to use your prefrontal cortex. Each of these emotions, or anyways, the emotions overall, and there's many different ways people talk about it. So it's not linear. None of this is linear. It's conceptual. I'm a Fibonacci brain. I'm an infinite higher human conscious brain who's sharing with you how we get to consistently expand concepts and topics and that state of self. Here's why: when people do hear about consciousness and change, you learn how integrated brains, they consistently are in this self that is expanding. That's why we don't feel changed. The ones of us who have maintained the state that is a self, my name's Maria, that welcomes all my child parts. They're not charged. And so in my love life, I talk about Maria's emotions, vulnerability. I will share with that person and those people exactly what's coming up, but I know how to be my own safe haven, secure base. So that means I know how to self-regulate. And that's why well-being, we're going to talk about love for self and how it's not somebody else's responsibility to tend to our nervous system. It is only if their amygdala is interested in that, and that will be clear because they will ask and they will want to be involved, and then they will want to actively comfort and soothe and support you. It's called, we have the same desires of attachment as we're building our relationship. If there's a mismatch, that's where we get splinters, ruptures, but that's not the end of a relationship. You recalibrate. It means, okay, in this partnership, and for my polyamory, that's exactly how it works. We will have some that are simply safe haven, others are secure bases. And then when we get the perfect match, the perfect match is we're both equally safe haven, secure base. And that is why we consistently talk more, emotionally involve ourselves more. And this is a gradual aspect that takes place within the years of you building a committed relationship. Doesn't matter how it happens, but it's two people, whether it happens organically, which is definitely something that takes place for those of us who are a consistent contingent communicator, and or if it happens in one, those people who they just say, you're the one, and then they stick it through and they're happy. All love life is different, but for one, if it's love, it doesn't leave. And it's not because it's hard to keep. It doesn't leave because that amygdala is what is alerted to the appreciation of each other. And it's alerted in a way of joy and in a way of connection, not in a way of fear, not in a way of threat. Because obviously the amygdala alerts us also to that which is potentially threatening. And this is where, when people don't know if they have secure attachment, it's the first step before you can even bother with dealing with romance. Once you have categories, then you can make sense. And that's why disorganized attachment, once they make sense of their narrative and they integrate it, and they're able to say, okay, my active growing up was with a frightening experience. And so I don't have complete physical safety yet in connecting consistently. Once they can know the psychoeducation, now they've made sense. I was with a frightening, scary household environment, but my attachment system longs to connect. Now that I can see the two, because I've made sense with data, with information, and I can feel it, I can now move from disorganized to say I want organized, and that's when you can then begin to build in time, relationship, and you don't want to run away anymore because you recognize to have one human being that is a safe haven, secure base is comforting, and it's nice. And actually, it shows you that love does stick around forever, because that's exactly what love is. It's safe for you to be yourself. You have a mood, it's okay. You have another mood, it's fine. You have a whatever, we keep talking. Pacha, Cusco's, okay? And that's why we heal trauma together, one person at a time, one relationship at a time. And the self-help that works, it's only for the people who are inclined to be spiritual, whether you're a believer or not. Even Dr. Daniel Siegel, he's a sciences person, and he was invited to spirituality conference. Why? Because he lives a life of meaning and connection beyond the solo self. So that inner growth journey, the spirituality journey, it's all one and the same. Love life, it's with a person or people who want to be consistently in your life. They will speak it. It's not in thin air. Those relationships for the mystics with our oversoul, that's a bonus. And that actively expands your own capacity, if you're a channeler, to be there for more people. And that's why it's not a special gift. It's actively something that doesn't torture the 5D mystic in any way, shape, or form, because you're mastering your mental, emotional, and physical plane, body. I'm an Akashic record reader, though, so I know about these aspects. If you have questions, let me know. And again, love life. It's always on a high, and the people who commit, they don't need to promise the death do us part. It'll happen organically or by having an active conversation. And that's when you decide, okay, this is what we want for each other. We want to be there emotionally, mentally, physically, always, and not just sometimes. How do we want to plan it out? There's that logistics with the 24 hours, and for all of you, there's different circumstances. Some of us travel, and some of us don't. Some of you live far from each other, some of you don't, okay? And that is the beauty of harmonizing, actually, with each other and making sure that everyone is happy. We have compersion. So let's say we like different areas. We're not going to say, you have to be in my area, I have to be in your area. No, we can work it out. We can work it out. And that's because there's no need to use what is a traditional, ancient in our here mindset About relationships, there are people who believe that long distance is not possible. Not true. Long distance is possible. It's depending again on that amygdala, on that alerting oneself. How interested are you in consistency over time? Which is why it's also not something sad in the way of, oh my God, I'm going to die if you grow apart because you have different interests, because you don't communicate as much, because you have different interests. And that's the part of why a 1 year old is what you own. When you own your 1 year old, you won't be in this thing of, but I don't have that relationship anymore. That's the attachment that is bondage that Sadhguru talks about. He just doesn't know how to explain it in the psychoeducational way. I do. Because I am a person who has a 1 year old who can say, I don't have this primal attachment panic with the polyamory crew. Yeah, it didn't happen that way. But then again, I have a twin, so I have consistently shared my caregiver since the day that I can remember. And I was Grumpy Bear for a reason. They always tease me about it because there's a whole story behind that. But my point is, I got determined with the capacity to live a true spirituality life from the get go because of having an identical twin, a mini, not me, we're different, to get to have all of our little fights with and repairs. And so I got the third attunement from the big person, and then I got to repair ruptures with the small person, and I got to learn that the human herd is safe. And it's beautiful to be able to explain it to you, humanly speaking. And if I need to bring in anyone, I'll bring in Jesus and God, and that's where the essence of love and life and the essence of love life. It is beautiful to know of true love, and that is because when it is true, let me see if I can grab something for you all. I know that I have read it to you before. Uh, Let me show you the ways that I love thee. Let's see if it's here. Right here. Let me count the ways that I love. The smiles you bring to my heart, the silence you fill with awe and splendor, the essence of life and love that you are, the magic that the mere expression of you holds, the embodiment of the infinite and unknown splendors of life that you bring to me each day. I love thee for that which our fusion creates. It is love and life in form, completely conscious of being and awakened in every breath, thought, and action we take, both together and apart. Let me count the ways I love thee, in knowing that together we bring to life that which is deemed impossible to be experienced by a mortal being. The experience of love and life in its utmost, unlimited, and infinite expression and potential. So when you do know what life and love are, and when you do understand that that form and formlessness is you, and then when you come on over here, we get to continue chit-chatting about how to build, again, those lovely functional adult relationships. So love life, it doesn't go away, it sticks around, but that's for those of us who have the healthy self-worth, unconditionally loving, and then we work it out always. And so we don't stay within low self-esteem relationships at all. We know how to recalibrate and accept people with their flaws and imperfections with integrity, and we will share what we want, and then you can learn how to in fact recalibrate, because that's how Pacha and Pachas do it. So Cuscos and Pachas, they consistently coexist, and we expand consciousness together, and that's what love life is. Nobody brings the mood down. Bringing the mood down, we have people who have yet to learn that they have the opportunity together to self-regulate that embodied emotional experience into, let me use my mindfulness mindset practice. I'm in a mood. I'm going to be focusing my attention to my breath. I'm going to be in awareness, what's coming up, what sensation, images, affects, meanings, what behavior. I'm going to integrate kind intention in that instant. That's all three in one, and that's you practicing self-awareness, accountability, and self-regulation. Now I'm going to vocalize to you what's going on, and now we're going to calibrate because you're mature, and you're not going to be offended because I got a tone, a mood, whatever it is. We're actively having what is a tango dance in a minute, and we're going to get to laugh at a certain point. And that's when we're going to smile and say, that was really fun. Look, you got my mood out. Aw, I love that. Come on over. Let's go do something else. And I'm not kidding. This is how easy it is. So laundry, no laundry. It's called embodied brain. Own it. Own it like you own it. And that's with the mind left mode and the right mode, and that's with the embodied brain and with your relationships. And so again, pachas and Cuscos, we laugh it out and smile and expand, and eventually Cusco becomes a consistent pacha, FYI. But we're always going to have, because we got kids being born, they're going to need examples, right? So this is that part. 8 billion people out there. Not all are going to be pachas, so we get to have fun with the Sid, Diego Manny. Yes, we get to be the pachas, though. Couple pachas are way different than anything else, and that's why our love life is always on a high. It's like a fireworks. Anyone, that one song, oh, what's it called? I forget. Anyways, we'll be back with some more. Thanks for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe. And if you do know people who want to do spiritual self help work, they want to enjoy their journey as an enlightenment potential soul age group, or anyways as a restorative embodiment, self-aware, accountable, and regulating person who looks forward to transformation with well-being in the forefront, send them our way. It'll be a pleasure to have them, and you can inquire if you're curious about one-to-one mentorship. The masterclass is going to be a limited number, and then we do have Ask Maria, and I'm going to get ready in a couple of weeks, I think, to set up our membership content. I want to wait to see that we stay above that 1K threshold, and then I need to go figure out some other things. And so as a solopreneur, I have a bunch of to-dos. And on that note, it makes me happy every day. I have something more to bring to us. So thank you again for stopping by. Have a good one.